now. Turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
What's up, everybody? I know it's been a long time since you've seen our beautiful faces. Well, everybody, but thank you for Tupac Shakur.
We started with the bullshit. Nice.
You see what we deal with still to this day.
What can I say? But yeah, let me introduce the co-host, of course, D. D, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for asking, jackass. I hope your mama's on here so she can see the kind of treatment that you give me. I hope she's here.
You see this?
Please relax. And Courtney, how's it going?
I'm going to have my mom tell your mom that you're being mean since they're best friends now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so Ron and I made a major mistake in making our moms become friends because now we're probably going to end up at each other's Thanksgivings.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to see you for Thanksgiving now. But
for like ever.
So yeah, let's get in to this episode. But before we get started, we have our recap of last week's episode. D, take the floor.
Okay, I want to add, we're real people that live real lives and also have 2 children. So if it sounds as if the ceiling is about to fall down, do not worry. They're fine. I promise.
Okay. It might, but they're fine.
They're fine.
They'll be cool.
They bounce back. They bounce back quickly.
Parachutes. We've got emergency efforts there. All right. So last week was Falcon and Bucky fought. This is last week, right? When they fought to get the shield back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot that happened last week. Okay, so they had to fight MAGA Cap, or John Walker as he's called, to get the shield back. Bucky's arm looked like it was damaged, but it doesn't look like much came from that. And Falcon's wings were removed. Cap had to pay for his crimes, and they pretty much, what's the word? Demoted or discharged, honorably discharged him.
He got an other than honorable discharge, so it wasn't a dishonorable, but it wasn't like it was like we're gonna let you slide, but it's still pretty.
Right. So he also didn't get charged for murder. We want to make sure to point that out. He met Val. Ronnie, what's her real name?
Contessa Valerie. I can't remember the entire name. Sorry.
Mama, yes, we can see your comments. But she said she would have killed the bastard too. That's a quote. The orphanage or school, we can't really figure out what it is. It may have been 2 and 1, was shut down by the GRC. Carly has pretty much gone full. We don't want to call us supremacists, but
extremists.
Is that what we dealt with? Yeah.
We're going to say extremists because killing like innocent civilians is extreme.
Yeah. Zemo was returned to the raft by the Wakandans, but before they took him, Bucky asked for a favor of Io. We saw Isaiah and his grandson again, and he made it very clear that no respectable Black man should want to be Captain America, and that he doesn't want anything to do with anything that's happened. He gave his backstory. It was quite the deal, and we kind of see Sam wrestling with that kind of a little bit. Sarah and the community fixed their boat, and she may have winked at Bucky. He may have winked back. We don't know for sure. Bucky made sure to tell us that he's right-handed. His armor's on the left. I call it armor, but his arm is on the left. That was just a point that I like that they put in there. John Walker lied to Lamar's parents. Like, he lied to their face
so
and told him that he killed the person that murdered Lamar, which was a lie. Sharon was talking to an Algerian prisoner. Ronnie, what's his name?
Baltruck the Leaper.
That one. And Sam was getting his parkour capoeira cramping on so he can learn how to use his shield.
His training montage, basically.
Right. Yeah. Carly's team it seems that there's a little discontent between them because they don't really like the fact that they're working with criminals, but they are following her regardless, which is, I guess speaks for her leadership qualities. Joaquin has a lead on Carly, which is in New York. MAGA Cap makes a Wish version of the Captain America shield, and now we are to where we are now in New York.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into
all these things end, right?
Yeah, let's get into the general impressions for this finale. So, Courtney, was this finale fulfilling for you? How you feel about it?
I personally feel like I said it was like kind of like an uptick. I don't think it went down, but it kind of just went like this for me. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I feel like it could have gone better than where they did. Like there were some things I was a little bit discontented with. I don't know. I feel like the previous episode, which was much better than this one. Not to say this was bad. I'm not hating it. It's much better than the first couple of ones, still, in my opinion. But I feel like, especially after how good the last episode was, it was just kind of just went it plateaued, I guess.
Dee, how about you?
I think that's kind of a problem a lot of shows have, that their penultimate episode is usually better than the finale, because they build up so much in that one that the finale just pretty much closes off all the story. So it's not as exciting. It's like them just wrapping up the story. And I think that's what they did here. I did enjoy it though. It felt like a whole lot happened, but it felt short at the same time. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. But overall, I enjoyed the episode.
Miss Angel, I know y'all are best friends. My mom talks about y'all's friendship a lot.
But yeah, I would like to be fair about this finale, because allegedly this show was supposed to come before WandaVision, but they had to extract an entire storyline. So that's why a lot of things seem kind of weird and clunky. In this finale, you're like, oh, that really doesn't make sense. Particularly how they allowed one character back into the fold. I'll explain that later. But that's why they pushed WandaVision forward first, because there was allegedly an entire virus subplot that they had to remove, because of course we're living in the middle of a pandemic. But as far as finales go, this feels like how do I want to say this? I feel like it's setting up something potentially later. Like they're leaving the door open clearly for another movie or another season if they choose to do so. It was a very surprisingly small and contained finale, but I didn't mind it at all. It was still a pretty good episode. So I'm looking at it as if it's another episode and not the finale. It was still pretty good. So yeah, I did enjoy it. So let's actually get into the episode and talk about that weird character who was brought back into the fold. I know this is jumping around a little bit, but I feel like this is the most pressing thing to talk about. John Walker. Courtney, since you obviously have beef with him, how do you feel about him allowing
he's
to
US.
He's
US agent.
Yeah, how do you feel about him coming back into the action and basically being allowed to be part of the team for most of the episode?
I didn't like it. I'm very tired of these MAGA people not having actual consequences for their actions, because again, it's a very a self-aware kind of series, talking about a lot of social issues, especially with racism. And I just was like, this dude kills someone, and it's like, oh well, I mean, here's the thing. Someone actually brought up a good point that we kind of forgave Wanda's, because the way I was like, I didn't forgive Wanda for what she did, but it's just this guy also, it's a little bit different. It's the cockiness for me, and just the outright lying and the entitlement, I guess. I just don't. I had a feeling he would end up being U.S. agent. We kind of talked about it. So I was mentally prepared, but but they weren't going to have Kurt Russell's son just play a one-off character. So I have no beef with whatever your real name is, but I just John Walker can catch these hands. You will forever be MAGA man for me. I don't care what you do. You could personally eat Mitch McConnell and I would still have beef with you.
Hey. But yeah, before we go to D, let me get these comments out. Jonathan, shout out to Jonathan, supporter of the blog. He says the finale was really safe and predictable, but it wasn't bad by any means.
Like most Marvel movies.
And Brian, you're actually gonna be disappointed once you hear my take. He says, "Let me hear how much I hated this series."
Excuse me. I'm sorry, we have standards.
But D, what about you? How do you feel about John Walker being allowed to, be in the action in this episode with no consequence?
it's almost it's not almost like John Walker committed a murder for everybody to see, and all he did was transfer to another department.
And I'm wondering if they did that on purpose. Like, part of me is like they had to have been aware, especially because who was it that shared something that like the entire writer's room was black that they brought in?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, there's no way that was an accident, because it just felt like
it had to. And it's the thing that I hate the most about it is going to be
paid administrative leave.
Yeah, and now another job. But I'm okay with redemption. Like, I get that people need to redeem themselves, but has he though? He hasn't done anything.
He doesn't seem like he's like regretting any of it. There's no remorse.
Nothing. Because when he went to help, it wasn't because he was fighting for America. It was still for vengeance. Still. So it's still not him just being a better person.
It's like how dare you take me from this?
Yeah, it's like almost like, when Sam gave his speech, he was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But I just don't like the fact that he was able to kill a person and nothing happened.
Very publicly.
Yeah. And and this was a person of color, yes?
I mean, yeah, it looked like it to me.
Oh, it's just I don't want to get into a whole America thing, but it stings. Okay, I'll say that. And even if he does good, even if he turns a new leaf and does great things, it's just also a testament about how people are given chances, second chances, third, fourth, fifth chances, and others are not. Mm-hmm. So again, it stings a little bit. It stings a lot.
It's that Family Guy meme with the tone. That's exactly what it is.
So yeah, I've been seeing like there's like a very visceral reaction to John Walker being allowed to, basically, get off like scot-free. But I think once you like allow that to settle and think about it, is actually quite fitting. I mean, a white man who is basically a hollow shell for what America is supposed to be committed a heinous act and gets to, march on like nothing ever happened. Quite fitting. So I do think that was actually, and once again, we don't know what that other subplot would have been. So I think that's also why this is weird. But I do think if you sit back and think about it, it's actually quite fitting. And I don't mind it at all because D, like you said, it wasn't like he was out there fighting for justice. He was still out for revenge. So him being in the midst of the action, actually is quite fitting when you think about it.
I mean, that is one thing. The show was not telling us to like him. The show, so that's what makes me think it was intentional, is that the show was never telling us to like them. Like, they made it very clear that we're supposed to have in my opinion, they're supposed to have a disdain for him at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jonathan says it's also surprising that he isn't set up to face consequences later. I get him helping in the situation they were in, but for him to get away with it was surprising. So
was it?
So yeah, let's jump to where he ends up in the end of the episode, and we could get back to Sam. Like Courtney said, he ends up becoming U.S. agent, and what he is about to do once again is quite fitting because, you see these ex-military people, they go into like some black ops things once they get out the service. So now,
participate in insurrection of treason against the U.S. Capitol, even though they're U.S. veterans.
Yeah. So what Val said is that basically when we need a Captain America, but is like something that's immoral, you're going to be the Captain America in that situation. So it's actually quite fitting. It's actually
especially
quite
when
fitting.
He's like, it's the suit but black. It's almost like Venom.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's actually quite fitting that he sticks around to be U.S. agent.
So he's like a mercenary now?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, even from the eyes of the government, it's not that surprising because they do this a lot.
But
so, you can kill brown children in the Middle East and you're celebrated as a hero. So it's not that surprising.
Is he still a government person because he's U.S. agent, or is he outside of it?
He's a private citizen now. I'm pretty sure he's a private citizen now.
Yeah, he's a private mercenary now. So
but they did say if they catch him slipping again, they're like, okay, we will have to do real life consequences for you.
Sure, but yeah, whenever Val comes calling, like he's gonna do whatever she asks for now.
Okay. All right. Is she American? Val?
No,
No.
Okay.
at least not. At least not.
Point that out.
She's
At least not
Madam
in the
Hydra,
comics.
right? Or
Yeah.
Miss Hydra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course she's Hydra. Of course she's
Yeah.
Hydra. Okay. Makes perfect
Yeah, so
sense.
I'm interested to see what they do with her character because it could have some larger implications. Especially, I feel like her appearance may explain Sword if you know anything. Yes, if we go back to that. So I'm curious to see what they
She's
do
gonna
with
do
her.
so good. I think like I was excited because like when you see a big actor like that, you're like, okay, this character is gonna have like long term. They've got long term plans. So I'm excited to see how they're setting up things. These are all just kind of seeds in the MCU. So
Yeah, and I
You
do
should have
enjoy.
Julia though.
Yeah, I do
Love
enjoy
her.
like
We can't
they're
say-
setting up these subplots. I do like that. So yeah, let's actually get into like the actual finale now, which is we get to see Sam in the suit. So thoughts in general when you saw the new suit?
The ears are distracting, but I like it. I just want them like.
I just wish y'all could see the
something.
meme that Ron shared in the chat, but I can't see it. It's just like the thing in the suit, and it's just I can't separate. Like the suit's awesome. Like of course, it's made by the Wakandans and it's vibranium, so it's gonna be badass. But I like the fact that he's not a super soldier either. I like the fact that like his power, obviously is the suit, but he's still just like as a normal person. That is something I do like.
Yes, yeah, so do I. Because he like I said, the way Cap fought was very much of his time. Like Cap was like a boxer basically, and his fighting style like evolved, and he was like a grappler, like more of like judo type things. So Sam fights how he knows. And I was joking with D that he was still getting washed, but at the same time, the way he was fighting in the suit and utilizing the wings and the shield at the same time, that was actually pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I really enjoyed seeing that.
And that was a fight scene I actually enjoyed watching because again, it was substantive and it wasn't just random Disney flexing their CGI budget.
And
Also,
his wings are vibranium now, right?
Mm-hmm.
the whole get up.
You can't just
Also-
rip them off.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
quick interjection.
cool. You didn't have to do that. You did not.
Sorry.
You didn't have to do that.
You just did it, and I don't think you knew. I was like watching the episode when you dropped that, and I'm just like, I can't do this.
You didn't have to do that. You didn't.
No reason.
So yeah, what were your thoughts because last week I said I thought Sam would come out and say, like it's funny that the guy in the crowd said that's the Black Falcon because I thought Sam would be like, you know what, I'm Sam Wilson the Falcon, but like I'm rocking the Stars and Stripes now. But no, he actually comes out as Captain America. So do you like what did you think when he announced himself as Captain America?
Because it happened twice. So,
Mhm.
He said it the first time. Somebody said, he's like, who are you? And he said, I'm Captain America. And then an onlooker said, hey, it's Black Falcon. And he said, no, that's Captain America.
Mhm.
I was hoping that he heard, Black Falcon and was like, okay, fine. I'm Black Falcon. Like, it is what it is. I will take it because, I didn't like the whole, are you black kid? Like whatever, dude. Just Black Falcon and deal with it. Whatever. But I mean, if he wants to be Captain America, then don't let the government tell you. You just tell them, hey, I'm Captain America, and that's the end of it. So kind of like that part, but him being Captain America, I don't know if I'll ever just like love it. But just like Isaiah Bradley, he doesn't care about my opinion.
Yeah, what about you, Courtney? Like when you saw him announce himself as Captain America,
I mean,
like what did you think?
That's what the whole series was about, is I think kind of like getting fans to like him as Captain America. I mean, at that speech, Anthony Mackie is obviously an excellent actor because he said a lot of things he doesn't personally believe in. But whoops, I'm sorry. I'm drinking alcohol. That wasn't my actual thought process when I was listening
Like
to.
Emmy award-winning performance.
I was like, oh wow, he's like really working. But I mean, I think that's what they're because they had to have a Captain America, so at least they gave us like the antithesis of what Steve Rogers was first to make it more digestible. But I mean, they also set up, I think, who's going to be the next Falcon too with an Easter egg. So I kind of knew it was going to happen. I'm okay with it. You know, I like the character as Captain America.
I'm like I said, I'm like Isaiah. I just don't want him to be Captain America. I just don't want him to be because of America, and I'm going to separate real life from the show, even though it's difficult because they're kind of blurring the lines between the two, right? Like we know that
they're making it very similar,
very much, yeah. So it's kind of difficult for me to be pro Black man.
I know that's what he wants,
on the full armor of America when America couldn't care less about what is happening.
And I think especially it's like the timing of that with the current events. But I mean, the character wants it, and I really was touched by that moment with Isaiah Bradley too. That was a really touching moment. At first, someone was like, "Oh, you're gonna get upset about a certain thing," and I was like, "I swear to God, if they have him get that, and then like it gets destroyed or something, I'm gonna be really pissed off because like that's something that Disney would do to try to send a message." And I'm really glad.
All the way in the back.
I'm really. It kind of was. I was just like, it had to be in a corner. But I was really, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole episode.
Like they don't even have lights back there, but at least it's there though. At least it's there though.
Use your phone flashlight. Maybe you'll be able to see them. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's added on, so of course it has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
But that was really touching. That was really touching, even though in reality there's not a real equivalent. But I'm kind of glad because I think it's kind of like a Watchmen. Like a lot of people maybe aren't aware of those things, and they might like research it and then realize that it's based off of reality. Because again, a lot of people don't know about the Tuskegee experiments and what Black veterans from World War II went through. So that's what I'm hoping people will take from that, because they did that with Watchmen and they didn't know that Tulsa was a real thing. So
yeah. I thought it would have been hilarious if Isaiah was like, "Didn't I tell you I didn't?"
I was genuinely expecting for him to be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Like I told you, but no. Let me speak on that. So I really enjoy Sam going through the mental exercise and grappling about what it means to be like, basically, to take the mantle of an iconic character as a Black man in America, and also the conversations that he had with Isaiah. He still honors Isaiah's wishes, because to everyone, like, this is a commemoration of Isaiah Bradley. People think, okay, this is a guy who once lived, so they don't know any better. So Isaiah gets his recognition and he still gets his wishes. So to me, it's like it still ended perfectly, because you get to see Sam saying, you know what, like I know how hard this challenge is, and I know I shouldn't want it, but I'm gonna make them like me anyway. It is what it is. So to see him like go through that and come to that conclusion, and to see Isaiah Bradley finally get his recognition, it was wonderful. So I do like that. But I do agree. Like there was like a brief moment where I thought Isaiah was gonna be like, "Nigga, did I sell you?" But no, he was. But no, it's good to see him finally get his recognition, because that is
important, because he obviously has very valid feelings, but I think he did do a lot for the country, and I think it came from just from the character came from a place like you at least deserve the recognition for what you did. So that made it more believable, because no matter what, you still went through and did all of that. So I know it had to mean something.
And two, it was a good way for them to show the opposite ways they're looking at it. For instance, Bradley kept saying there's no Black man should want to be Captain America because he's done so much for the country and gotten nothing for it. But on the other side, Sam is like, you've done so much for the country and gotten nothing for it. So let me continue what you started, so that it won't be in vain. It won't be for naught. And I honestly think that's what he's thinking. Like, you did all of this, and I know you're tired, and I get why you're like, just screw it. But I can't let everything you've done be for nothing. So I got to keep fighting the same way you were. Well, not the same way, but in my way.
Also, why did y'all let me get through this whole episode and realize that the politics?
I
didn't pay attention. I didn't even pay attention.
This way again.
Yeah, look, we're doing our best there. We don't go live that much anymore, but we talked about the Falcon, so let's talk about the Winter Soldier and his I guess his closure.
Right,
yeah. D, go ahead.
The amount of fan cams.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Okay, so where do I want to start? Oh, I guess we can kind of start with the conversation he had with Carly, because it did kind of seem like she was doing like a filibuster almost, just trying to keep him occupied while something else was going on. But there was a part of it that made it seem like she was actually trying to get him to join in her cause, which makes sense. I mean, of course, she wants everybody to join in with him. But I think the fact that he did not, or that he sees that the way that she's going about it is wrong, is only reiterating how much he's no longer the Winter Soldier. Like all of that is gone. He's just Bucky, and that's a good thing. Well, yeah, because he was a good guy before all of that happened. So it's like he's back the whole time. Want to turn back to so Brian says Bucky was nerfed the whole season. I wanted him to turn back to the old Bucky on somebody. He kind of did.
So let me speak to that and why I think he was nerfed, because he was indeed nerfed. For one, he was a machine. He felt no pain, had no emotions. So I think, and this isn't me making an excuse. I really think this is like there's something to this. So once he regained like his human side and switched off the Winter Soldier, like he lost some of that, because that's the Winter Soldier. Like I said, he was just a pure machine and he was unstoppable, but he had to switch off that part and he lost a bit of that rage and basically a bit of that power. So he's not going to be as strong as he was as the Winter Soldier, like ever again, I don't think. Like, does that make sense?
Because I think like apathy was like part of it. Like you don't experience pain wise just because you are a robot. So when you gain your humanity back, like it comes at a cost. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, it makes sense. And I was going to say, like, they're also passing down the affinity for Steve Rogers down to Bucky, because that's exactly what's happening with these fan cams. And they knew what they were doing last episode. They set it up. They knew. So that just tells me how cognizant Disney is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to your point about him, the emotion part of it being there, it's like you said, they pretty much turned into a psychopath. And that is the thing about them. They have, it just does not exist within them. So there's nothing they won't do because they feel nothing about what they've done. It would be no different than, you throwing a piece of paper in the trash, because the paper means nothing, like in the grand scheme. And that's how they look at everything other than themselves.
Healing from that trauma. So you can't, it would be very, I guess, counterproductive to have like a plot line about him healing from it. And then he goes back to it.
Yeah, and it's good that he's got his friend, because it seems like him and Sam have actually formed a nice friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of how you said, it's almost like Bucky is like, hey, I have Captain America back in my life. Everything is back to normal.
And we're back.
He's like, where's your sister?
Yeah.
That's what it's really about.
Basically. So yeah, let's talk about.
He's really about to be a part of it. He's about to be those kids' stepdaddy. That's why.
Yeah. It's going to be Uncle James now. Yeah.
Uncle Bucky.
Please. But yeah, let's talk about Carly, because I thought that was weird. I said before. Yeah, I said before there were like some kind of like leftist undertones to her, but she was totally pushed over the edge this last episode, and I didn't see it coming. I gotta admit. So just general thoughts about Carly this episode.
I love the reasoning, but not like love, but like from a narrative standpoint, we'll get into like why she died, because she didn't die because she was gonna kill Sam. That's not why she died. But we'll get into that. But I don't know. I don't know if I like that she died though. But for that plot line to happen, for the plot line that we're going to get into to happen, she had to die.
But Courtney, did she die? And I'm only asking because usually when people die, they put them in a body bag, but they didn't do that for her. They just put her on a stretcher and put her in a.
I think they didn't like check. I don't know, because I know like I don't know. I think she was declared dead on scene. So
that's possible.
And it's probably also for like narrative purposes that would take time rather than just putting someone on a stretcher and carrying them away.
Okay. I mean, I was just curious because I didn't know if it was confirmed or not that she died.
At first, I was like, well,
let's go
maybe
with
like
fact.
how easily can you kill a super soldier? But they kind of foreshadowed like, yeah, we'll get
Sharon would
into
know how.
that.
Yeah.
I do think there's an opening for her to still be alive because obviously Zemo's old wrinkly butler killed the rest of the super soldiers. So I'm thinking that he thinks that Carly was with them or that she's dead already. So there's an opening
So
that
maybe.
like, hey, one last super soldier, you didn't kill everybody off. So maybe she's still around. I don't know, but I'm gonna assume that she's dead. And yeah, I did see that coming. That was pretty weird.
Let's go with it. Let's go with the rest of it, assuming that she's dead. I'm okay with that.
She's
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. So let's assume that she's dead.
I've expressed this, and I will continue to. Carly was misguided. She was a child. She was extreme. I get all of that and whatever, but I don't know what they were trying to like. Were we supposed to like her? Were we supposed to be mad? Like, were we supposed to form our own opinions? I guess it's a thing. You decide.
I think we were supposed to understand. I think we were supposed to understand, but not because like that's the kind of thing like you take like a I kind of understand, but I don't like the methods kind of thing.
And that makes sense. Now the problem that I had with Carly was when she said again, I don't like killing. She said, I'm sorry that I killed your friend. I don't like killing people who don't matter. Okay. My rage, like seriously, it flared because I was like, the fuck?
In this economy.
Yeah. And Carly, like you you are saying that you person have
I think it kind of shows though like how like she started out with really good intentions, but people when they get more powerful get kind of lost in the sauce. If that makes sense, I think it maybe have been like a sign of warning because some people can get that where they get so, extreme where they kind of lose their original purpose because their original purpose was to help people, but then she's killing people.
Yeah, and then they had MAGA Cap of all people say, so Lamar's life didn't matter. And then she doubled down and was like, no, not to my cause. And I'm like,
they definitely did that to make us not upset that she died, though.
It was and they did a good job.
They did that on purpose because I'm like, they set her up to be like likable and like really sympathetic, and then she said something like that, and you're just like, twist.
Because to me, Sam Wilson in this show is like Joe Biden. Especially when he makes that hear me out, especially when he makes that final speech, because he's like basically Carly is what you get when you don't listen to the people anymore. And up until this point, Carly's methods were extreme, but like I said, they totally pushed her off the edge this episode. And I think they did that because they're like, hey, okay, we're getting a little too like people are liking her a little too much here. So let's totally make sure that you don't like her, that you see her methods are wrong. So Sam says like, hey, Carly is what you get is when you don't listen to people.
Anytime there's like a leftist like ideal, they do that though. Like they can't like we have to give someone a cause, but then it's like, oh wait a second, you're not supposed to like it that much. It was kind of like Killmonger done like a different way because they're like, you're not supposed to agree.
Yeah,
because it was just like, so they have to make him do stuff that's unlikable.
Well, right. It's for me too. It's kind of difficult because I think I really do enjoy it because it makes me take a look at myself, right? Because when things happen and you're angry and you're pissed off and you're like, they're not going to understand. Like we've tried it this way. We try to do things the best way. We've tried and nothing is working. It's time to burn it all down, right? But then when you start burning stuff down, do you commit? Or do you say, oh, whoa. There was an innocent person in that building that we burned down. I know we said burn it down, but there was somebody in there. So it kind of makes me look and be like, am I really down for the cause? Or do I just want it to be this way when I know it's not going to work in the way we keep trying? And that's just where I think Carly was. Carly was like, this is where I have to be. This is what has to happen. It can't happen any other way. and she dug her heels in and she committed. And I can't be mad at her for that.
A great philosopher once said, "Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks."
Halfway crooks, and that's what it is. Like you have to decide that there isn't a place you won't go. And I don't know.
And she was also at a point where like
her
team, her like people were starting to kind of doubt her leadership. So I think that kind of made her buckle
They were like,
hey. And like, that I think that like I kind of saw her like not excusing, but kind of made her, yeah. So I think like she was like at this point gonna double down, because if she told her people like, no, you have to do this with me, you really can't go back.
But like I said, that kind of it puts me in the mind frame of our old, Ronnie, we talked about this when we watched Judas and the Black Messiah and all this, how like they were young, but they had so much conviction and they were so seriously down for the people that they had people follow them blindly through whatever, because they trusted them. And it felt like that's what Carly had. Even when they doubted her, when they thought she was doing too much, it was just kind of like, all right, this is who we chose. This is who we got to trust, which was cool because she, was fairly young. But even though I hate how it happened, I hate for sure that Sharon, like, we'll get into Sharon, but I got words for her. I still have to respect the fact that Carly, like, was 100% for her cause. Like, I have to respect it. I don't like her methods and everything else she did. She was doing a lot, but she made a decision and she stuck with it and she decided to see it through, just like Zemo. Zemo said, I'm gonna kill all the super soldiers, and God dang it, that's what he did.
Let's get into Sharon now. So D, go ahead and kick that off.
Courtney called it. I did not expect her. Like, I was just, it made sense for her to be a power broker, right? You've made compelling arguments that she was a power broker. All of that made sense. But I just so desperately did not want her to be like dark. I didn't. I wanted her to still be the Sharon.
I mean, imagine your man chooses your aunt over you.
Well, it is what it is. But she
go back to the 40s to choose his aunt over you.
She is, if you really want to talk about it, she kind of is. Her and Carly are one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
She just, she just hasn't gotten caught or won't get caught. I don't know. She's a white woman, so she.
That's what I was talking about though. That's why she killed Carly. It's not because she was going to kill Sam. It's because Carly knew who she was and could have compromised her identity. So that's the reason. And we have to not. And I want people to understand it was not to protect Sam.
I want people to hear that too. Why she killed Carly. Because that's exactly what she did.
Is that like a, representative of how a lot of white women don't really do it for, allyship, but they really do it for their own motivations?
I mean, is it? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
For self-protection, and I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me if that was intentional too.
I mean, give me rights, but not them.
But yeah,
I like how the suffragettes were like, hey, if you let us vote, we can help counter the black vote. And that's really one of their biggest arguments. So stop celebrating Susan B. Anthony. She was a raging racist.
So yeah, there's in regards to great point, by the way, but in regards to Sharon Carter, there's something I want to show you, and I don't know if we're getting this, but I kind of wasn't expecting this. So to set this up, we kind of got this in Infinity War when when Steve Rogers had his beard and everybody else all of a sudden found black suits everywhere. But it's called I set that in the background. Let me
that wasn't it.
Let me set it up in the overlay. But it's called the Secret Avengers. So the Secret Avengers team, this team in particular, was Moon Knight, Steve Rogers, Black Widow, and Sharon Carter. They were basically the team that would go in and get their hands dirty, under the radar. So could U.S. Agent be like an analog for, Steve Rogers in this case, and is Sharon Carter gonna do some Black Ops stuff going forward? HR paper stacks.
Look what we got here.
I just came here to say,
not the y'all.
Not the y'all. Not the y'all.
Okay.
But to the viewers. Stop your stupid theories. Young Avengers.
Never.
That's it.
I feel like this is targeted towards me.
No, not you guys. Not you guys. I'm talking to the people who be reading these comic book sites. And like at the beginning of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there was comicbook.com put up some shit like, could Falcon and the Winter Soldier be introducing the X-Men? No.
X-Men aren't coming until the next phase.
They're not.
They're not coming until the next phase.
Eli Bradley. That was all this was for, was to set up Eli Bradley. That's it. They even set up his storyline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are getting this phase. It's Mephisto.
That's it. The X-Men so badly, though.
They're not doing it until the next phase.
It's not going to happen, guys. These shows are nothing but a way to introduce the Young Avengers. That is it. We already have 4 confirmed members of the original Young Avengers and 2
Tell us who they are
on the way. The twins from WandaVision, the girl that's playing Hawkeye, and Eli Bradley. Mm-hmm. And if Loki goes Kid Loki in his series, then it's confirmed.
Oh, he's definitely going to. That's the whole purpose.
Because he's trapped in the time.
That's what I tell people. They're going to plant seeds. Exactly. But we're not getting X-Men until the next phase.
Like at most, you might get a Wolverine anthology series, which is what.
But it would have to be at the end of this phase.
Yeah, like it's not happening anytime.
Nah, like Marvel, if they finally got all that big money, they're going to dedicate a whole phase to it to milk it.
Yeah, and what's going to happen is these shows will get a season 2, not this show in particular, because they're doing Captain America 4 for some ungodly reason.
Wait, huh?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes,
they gotta show you.
Yeah, they greenlit Captain America 4 starring Sam Wilson.
Hey, you said you wanted to be Cap.
I'm Captain America. Hey, y'all, it's Tupac.
I want to make sure I do it right.
So,
like I said, Anthony Mackie putting on the best performance of his career,
which is saying a lot.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know if you heard my comment because, like I said, he didn't believe a damn thing in that speech.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't at all. He was mad that he had to say it.
You see it in his eyes. You see it in his eyes.
Can we change this?
Was Seabiscuit directed by a horse? Like he definitely wanted some of that.
In his mind, he's like, it's acting.
Yeah, I'm acting. I don't have to believe what I say. Sam believes it. Sam ain't even believe that bullshit. But as these shows are getting a season 2, and it's going to be the Defenders thing that leads into Young Avengers at the end of whatever the next slate.
And that's fun. We should be excited about that.
That's what's going to happen. You'll probably get Hulkling and She-Hulk, and they'll probably have Ironheart replace Iron Lad, as Ron has been saying. And that's really going to be it. I just wanted to jump in here and say that. It wasn't at you guys. I'm talking directly to the people.
I'm just saying, Ron and I still aren't wrong. We're getting Mephisto is our big bad.
Yeah, listen. I'm not paying attention to anything long term in the MCU. I care. I honestly I'm mentally checked out of the MCU. I just wanted to say that one thing because the minute I saw Eli Bradley, I was like, God damn it, AJ is right because I predicted that shit.
It's funny.
Young Avengers, people. That is it. That's all. I don't think we're missing any piece of the Young Avengers.
I think we should also let the X-Men. Can we just I'm surprised people just don't want to breathe.
Yes,
we just had the young, X-Men,
Breathing's
and then
overrated.
before that,
really deep
cardio up. Breathing's overrated.
No, listen. The X-Men are not coming anytime soon. It's not happening. They ain't even cast nobody. Just leave it be. Marvel proved they wanted to throw y'all with WandaVision.
They better put Hugh Jackman in cryotherapy or just freeze his body or something. Because
apparently he said he would be interested in coming back, but Hugh just leave.
He's old. He's old.
You are not Logan. You're not borderline immortal, and your cells don't regenerate like that. Just go. Let us get a fresh start.
He's old. It's just.
Go do The Greatest Showman Part 2. Just leave the X-Men alone.
Yeah, he's trying to get to do your Broadway thing.
Go do a Prestige prequel or some shit. I don't know. Just stay away from the X-Men. It doesn't need to happen. But I didn't want anything. My wings are getting cold. I wanted to come here and say that one part to the people, not to you guys, because theorizing is what makes this show. I just wanted to talk to the people because y'all still be on the timeline saying stupid ass shit. If it's not Young Avengers related, please, not y'all, the people. If it's not Young Avengers related, stop with the theories. That is all these shows are for. They are for nothing more.
I'm not going to stop talking about Mephisto.
Give me all your theories.
My one last prediction,
Send them to
Eli and Hawkeye are going to end up
IV
dating.
_eyes.
He's
No.
old.
No.
Wait. What'd you say?
Eli and Hawkeye are going to be a thing because Disney loves interracial couples. Haley Steinfeld.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be a thing. And
Yeah.
I think for Eli's storyline, they're not going to I'm shocked they didn't set it up in this, but they're not going to go the whole him using the mutant steroid shit to simulate super soldier powers. We're going to end up hearing that he was in an accident and gets a blood transfusion from his grandfather somewhere towards like the end of one of these series. They'll end up bringing him up.
An organ donation or something.
Yeah, because in the comics, he lies and says he has powers and uses this mutant HGH to simulate super soldier powers. Then he ends up quitting because they find out about it, and then they ask him to come back because they needed his leadership. And then he does get in an accident and gets a blood transfusion from his grandfather and gets super soldier abilities. So that's probably
how old is Eli? I mean, not Eli, Isaiah.
If he was in the war in 51, so he was at least 18. So
probably 18.
That would have put him born in what, 33? So yeah, he's 90. No, he's 90.
90s, yeah.
Well, I'm only thinking it because Bucky's 106.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's
but they fought each other. Remember, they fought each other. That's why.
Yeah, so he's at least 90s. But you got to remember, the super soldier serum slows down aging. So he's probably 90.
He's a magnificent looking 90.
Yeah, he's definitely in his 90s. But I did think it was cool that Sam did all that. I don't like the Sharon Carter power broker thing. Like it was, they telegraphed it, but her as a villain is just kind of
it doesn't feel right.
Like, did that really need to be done? And then everyone's like, "Ooh, she's on the phone with Justin Hammer. Who cares who she's on the phone with?"
It was funny because it was like she was like barely outside of the building, and I'm just like, there's people that can hear
people
you.
looking out the window. We can still see you.
We can see
forever.
Right? I can still see you, right? Like that was like, I
couldn't wait till you got in a car.
Like I just don't. I don't really care for what Marvel's doing right now. And then that Hawkeye, not Hawkeye, Black Widow trailer at the start of Demon Slayer earlier. I was just like, I'm not watching this shit.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Loki.
Loki's gonna be fire because I mean it's Tom Hiddleston. Like I mean,
Hiddleston.
It's gonna Loki's gonna be fire, but I'll probably watch Hawkeye just because. But
because we watch it for the people.
Y'all watch it for the people. I don't know, but that's all I wanted. I just wanted to hop in here to say that. No X-Men.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Stop.
HR Winter Stacks.
HR Winter Stacks. I wanted to think of a clever name before I jumped in the chat, but I was hungry.
What kind of wings are they, AJ?
Half lemon pepper, half hot. And I was sitting there for 20 minutes while my wings was actually like done. And the girl at the counter like thought I was waiting on a sandwich. And I was like, no, I come here every Sunday and get the same thing.
Nice. Traditions are nice.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyway.
Us, okay.
Yeah, no problem. If Courtney's mom is watching, hello. I know I've been here in a while.
AJ.
She's watching.
She said, hey.
Oh, you did?
She said, hey, AJ.
I don't have the comments up. Oh, hey, Miss Campbell. How are you? Good seeing you in the chat again. But yeah, I'll catch y'all later. No X-Men. People,
we
no
want
X-Men.
it, but we need to just calm down.
Won't happen.
People were already talking about who's going to be Store, and I think people just need. Are just thirsty. They're parched.
Yes. No. 2023 is like the earliest. 2023 is at the earliest.
Not even.
But anyway,
that.
Fine.
But yeah, y'all enjoy the show. Keep up the great work. I'll be rooting for y'all while I eat these lemon pepper wings. One.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And to answer
It was World War II, right?
Yeah, World War II, because Isaiah Bradley character was created to basically highlight the atrocities committed against Black soldiers, specifically the Tuskegee Airmen. So Isaiah Bradley is kind of like the comic book.
And they actually name dropped him in the episode. I was like,
"Yep."
I'm gonna add he was in prison for 30 years. Like, let's not forget that. That's a long time.
Right. So I understand why he has nothing for this country, but
right.
Because who would exactly?
But yeah, let's wrap up this episode with a meaningless conversation. But I feel like it's one we have to have. WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Which one? You know.
We know the answer, and I feel like it was really unfair for the series. Like, I understand why for it to be after WandaVision. I feel like more people would have liked it. Like, I appreciate the storylines that they did. I do. I kind of wish they fully went there. I appreciate them having Isaiah Bradley here. I think that's really important for the climate, but it was just more entertaining.
I
for me, it's the
disagree.
first.
1000%.
I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch both of them, but this one, there were certain parts where it was kind of just like not as entertaining. I think this one had much more substance. I think this was a much more substantial series, but I don't know.
So I'm sorry. Let me get this off. So I was on board as one of the people who loved the first 3 episodes in WandaVision because it was a method of storytelling that Marvel typically doesn't do. But then the latter half of the show, they were like, "Hey, let's hold your hand. Let's hold your hand and tell you what's happening." And the finale on WandaVision was
was awful.
So with that said, I surprisingly like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier more than WandaVision. Who knew?
If I was judging based up, how about this? I'll say I liked the first half of WandaVision better, and I liked the second half of Falcon the Winter Soldier better.
That's how I would put it. Yeah, that's how I would put it.
Maybe that's my issue because I didn't like the first half of WandaVision. And
Disney
I know
has an issue with not being able to either finish things correctly or start things correctly. They hardly ever have both.
Like I get the storytelling. I like the fact that it was different. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. I say you guys, people who like enjoyed that method of storytelling.
You guys, what you mean you guys?
What do you mean you people? I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't hate it, but it's just not something I would revisit. I didn't particularly like watching it. I didn't have much to add to it. I realized that I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier more because I thought about when we were doing our recaps, how it was more of a chore to me to watch WandaVision than it was for me to watch Falcon.
And I'm trying to be more fair because I feel like the story would be more whole if they, and I realized I have to remember they took out a whole plot line and now it kind of shows in the series. So I'm going to have to rewatch it with that perspective. Because from what I understand from reading about it, that it was a pretty substantial subplot so you can kind of tell. So maybe that's in some of the episodes why it felt kind of empty because they probably were setting that up.
That's possible. Now I want to make it clear, I did not necessarily hate WandaVision, but it is a show that I watched as a means to an end. It's not a show that I watched because I particularly enjoyed it. I watched it because I knew that it was a part of a bigger story. So if it were a show like that I would recommend to somebody, I would not. But I would recommend Falcon and the Winter Soldier even for people that don't necessarily know the backstory. It's almost like an Endgame versus Infinity War to me. I
think it maybe depends because one thing I do like is this really is like a 6-hour movie. So at first I didn't like that, but now I've been saying this since WandaVision. I really appreciate Disney using a show for, character building better than just releasing a billion movies. But now I'm irritated because they're coming out with a Captain America 4. And it's just like, I guess you got to get your money because you're not going to get your money from a show as much as you are. But I feel like this series is made for much better storytelling. But I think a part of it is just it's very hard for me to like Sam Wilson because of Anthony Mackie. It really is. It makes it hard for me, but
gotta move past it. You didn't have to do it. You didn't.
I did have to do it. I did have to do it.
See that just made it harder.
You did not.
I mean, okay, I will say because I don't want to put down the speech. Like I said, the speech was really well done. Whoever wrote that really well done. It's just I just don't like the casting choice. It kind of ruined part of it for me, like hearing the person that was saying those words. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Like it's just hard because you're like I guess it kind of removes you from the buying into, I forget like the word for it, but it removes me from the suspension of disbelief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because like when I remember it, I'm just like, I mean, people can say what they want in their own free time, but those are just consequences of some of those actions when you're in a series that tackles these kind of topics.
Yeah, I agree. So that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for this episode.
Bucky's
Does
about
anybody
to be
have?
Uncle
Does anybody
Bucky.
have? Does anybody have closing thoughts?
Thank you
Loki.
to whoever casted Sebastian Stan. Thanks to whoever cast.
He's picking up
Hiddleston.
that totem from Steve Rogers but we have Loki.
Yeah.
We have
Thank you.
Loki. That's going to be super exciting. I
Please
wish I wasn't
believe we'll be
reminded about
recapping that
Hawkeye.
one.
Oh, yeah, I was like, I wish I was not reminded about Hawkeye, but I'm really excited about Loki.
We'll be
I'm
here.
probably,
So y'all be here with us.
I'm probably gonna hang back on that one because
You're not.
You're
y'all
not.
just-
We will not allow you.
y'all just gonna have to do your thing.
You're not. You'll be here with us.
Oh yeah, so I've always had this microphone. I actually just bought the toner rig from Amazon. It only costs $20. So if you're looking for one, get one of those. So yeah.
Jonathan, don't call me out about my lighting, okay? I'm working on it. Okay.
Listen, look at my listen. Part of my issue with my lighting is that I'm dealing with this.
I mean, get me a ring light. The blog's gonna buy me one or something, or Versace robe. One of the two. They're pitching in.
We had to send in a request to HR because our demands are not being met.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Get it with purchasing, and we'll see if we can approve that PO for you. But
Okay, I'm gonna use my company card. That's what I'm gonna use.
so best line of shout out to
That's
Ralph
Bob.
Walsall.
That's Bob.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Best
Twitter.
line. That shield is the closest thing I have to family. So yeah, we were talking about that. How basically all is right in Bucky's life now that he has a Captain America. So yeah, that's.
I thought what you did was just like he was like as soon as he had like the title, he was like, okay, I'm cool with you now.
But yeah, that's all we have for this episode. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back doing more live stuff once everyone gets their
We may
lives
do
back in
something
order.
for Black Widow, even though
We might, but yeah. So
I'm gonna force Michael to buy the movie for me or pay for it since Disney's charging people $30.
torrents. But yeah, just make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple. It's on last week's episode. Just type in that and you'll be able to find us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And as always, we're out.
Peace.